Back earlier this year, I'd just finished the job in France. I'd been home for a couple of days, and then I got a knock at the door that I wasn't expecting.
Nothing to worry about. Does Kirk Johnston live here?
I think okay.
Yeah, everything's fine. I'm investigating a fraud case and I need to speak to him. Do you mind if I step in?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
What I was about to hear next was how cruel people can actually be. So Tom's come round. We've just been chatting a little bit now about a situation. Well, I'll tell you what, rather than me saying it, I'll just let Tom tell you what's going on.
About a month ago, we received some contact from the MP's office. An elderly chap, he'd reported that he'd been ripped off by rogue traders. He's an old guy.
Yeah.
Very vulnerable. He's clearly had some medical issues. He basically explained to me that a bloke cold called. He asked him whether he wanted any work doing, and this old boy, he said, "I don't want anything doing." You know, just tried to get rid of him. Really, he was coaxed into having the archway above his side gate repaired. Don't think he wanted them to do that work, but I think they put that much pressure on him that he just
caved and given something. Yeah.
Exactly. So once they've done that, they've then taught this guy into a bit of work on his drains out the back. They did a bit of painting for him on the back of his house. They've got paint all over the back door, and they've essentially been fly tipping on his back patio. And we're not talking.
They've just seen this guy as a weak target, and they can just do what they want to him.
Exactly. And we're not talking just a little pile. There's tons of rubble on his back patio.
Wow.
They've actually knocked off the rendering from his garden wall.
Right.
So that's why I thought of yourself, because I've seen your videos of you repairing people's walls. It's actually when I met you.
Yeah, when I was doing that wall.
Exactly, yeah. So I thought of you, and that's why I'm here today, to see if you want to get involved. He's already paid out to these rogue traders £10,500.
Wow.
And he's a lovely bloke. He's a really lovely. He's worked hard all his life. He lost his wife. She died a few years back. Like I say, he's had a few medical issues, and he's 10.5 grand worse off.
So we'll go and see what's going on. I'm not going to get a ticket here, am I? Shows what needs doing.
Just a bit of background, really. It was in December 2024. They replaced this side gate. The original one is there. So this is the gate they put on.
I was just looking at that when I was on the way in then.
I mean, as you can see, it's
a bit twisted.
Yeah, no handle. It's all skew width. They even brought weeds with them, as you can see here, to then say to the owner of the property, we need to sort this drainage thing out here because of the weeds. They removed the gas bend that was under the ground here, so any smell that you can smell, it's because
there's no trap.
There's no trap. They've actually brought all this rubble and rubbish from other jobs they've been at, and they've dumped it on his patio. And in the process of doing that, they've knocked all the render off the wall. That's how much he's transferred.
That's what he's paid them?
He's paid
for that gate?
£1,000 for that, for them to damage this wall, for them to dump this, for them to remove the asphalt. There's paint all over his back door, there's paint on the flat roof.
Flippin' heck.
Yeah, £10,500 he's parted with.
I think what's happened here, they've just sent round anybody to just look busy, so they can just extract money off him.
Bullying, isn't it, essentially? It is, you're preying on vulnerable people and rinsing them for savings. It's so this is the least that we could do.
So, I'll fix this. No worries.
Great. Got the skip there on the front. Me and my colleagues are going to get all this cleared for him.
And that's exactly what they did. Tom and 3 other coppers, his colleagues, come back in their own free time. That's right, they willingly gave up their free time to come and help a stranger. Just goes to show there are still some decent people in the world.
Time slipping through my fingers. Can't recall all the days.
They had got in touch with a local skip company, Allen Skip Hire, who provided a skip completely free of charge. And they didn't just clear the rubbish, Between them, they planed the gate down so it would close properly. They pulled all the weeds out, they brushed everywhere up. They helped him get back on top of his garden and wiped all the overspilled paint off. And once all that was done, it was my turn to do my part. I'm going to put his garden wall back to how it used to be. And just as I was about to get started, the homeowner insisted that I have a coffee break. Now, this garden wall is made from thermalite blocks and they're not ideal to render over. So, to give it the best chance possible, I'm putting some pink SBR on first, just to help the scratch coat stick as good as possible. And that now is quite tacky, that's just ready to go straight over the sand and cement now. I put integral waterproofer in the scratch coat. That's not to try and make the wall waterproof, it's to stop the background suction coming through to the top coat when I'm trying to rub the top coat up smooth. I'm going to use a nice sharp sand, and I mix the sand and cement in a big tub rather than a cement mixer. I find this way much faster and much easier to transport the tools around rather than trying to lug a mix around with me. When I started getting the stuff on the wall, I noticed that there was loads of gravel in the mix. Every time I tried to push a trial's worth of cement up the wall, I just kept finding big rocks and stones in the mix. It was a bit of a pain in the backside, but we got over it. Now, if I'd known that was going to be the case, I would have just brought my sieve with me and just threw the sand through the sieve into the bucket, and that way would have got rid of all the stones and rocks. Now, you're probably wondering as well, what happened to the guy that caused all this damage? Well, that's why we had to wait so long for this video. I couldn't release this video until he'd been to court, and I'll let you know more about what happened with him later on. Once I get so far, I give it a quick go over the wire scratcher. Now, I like to do a little wiggly pattern. When you actually look into the cement and you've done this, it creates like a little dovetail. Like the next coat is going to be like locked in and keyed into it. Wipe the beads down, and that's basically it for today. Okay, that's it for today. Join us tomorrow. Really messy. That's it now, so we'll be back in a couple of days' time to top coat that and get it all nice and smooth so it matches this, and then when it's all repainted, it'll all look lovely. Now, this is the second day, but there's been a few days in between. Just enough time for me to nip off, go and get some different sand with no rocks in. We don't need any waterproofing in the top coat. There's plenty in the base coat, and that is going to stop the suction. So if we didn't have waterproofing, we have to damp this wall down now. But because we've got plenty of waterproofing, we don't need to. We will get a little bit of green suction from the very surface, but that's good. It's going to help this stuff pick up a little bit faster so we can rub it up sooner. And that's the name of the game today, getting away sooner. This is only a little wall, so the last thing we want is to be sitting around waiting for it to set for hours and hours. Now, whilst I've been working here, I've been round and inspected all of the other rendered walls. I need mine to match. I've noticed that they are fairly smooth, but not too straight. And also, they've been rubbed with a sponge rather than really flat with a float. So, I'm going to try and match the finish. Okay, you can use bigger rules than this, but it's only a little wall, and you know, the smaller the rule, the easier it is. It doesn't quite get it as perfectly flat, but for this, we're just replacing what was here, getting it looking nice. You always need to go both directions with your rule. Once you've done that, fill in your slacks and rule it again. And wherever there's hollows and misses, you're going to fill those sections back in again. You want all of this to be touched by the rule and to be left looking open. See that texture? It's torn. That's how we want the whole thing. When you leave the texture torn like that, it means that the air can get into it, so it dries faster, which basically means you can get rubbing it sooner with the float and you can go home sooner. Okay, we've left this a little while now, and that's how you want it. You want the surface to feel crispy, and that's why you leave it torn and open. Okay, so that feels nice and crispy now. Doesn't look the neatest, but it will do in a minute. Now, I've just got a normal polyurethane float. I usually use this with the screws sticking through for a little key when I'm rubbing up before we skim it. But because we're going to leave this smooth, I've just backed the screws off so there's no screws sticking out. And it's just a case of I'm going to go all over this wall with the float to get rid of all the hollow spots and get the whole wall nice and smooth. Each time you see a little hollow, you can just chuck a little bit of stuff in like that and rub it in. Once I've been all over with the float, I'm then going to go all over with the sponge to give it the same texture as the house and the other walls. And that's it. Job finished. Now, the sun is on this wall, so what we're doing is just giving it a little mist. Now, you don't want to see water running down it, but we want to keep this wall hydrated until the sun's gone and this has got the chance to set. So we don't want it to dry out before it sets. So we're going to give it a little damp down now, and we can put a sheet over it to keep the moisture in, and that's it. Cheers, guys. Right. Done.
Mate, thanks very much for that.
No problem. Pleasure.
I've just been speaking to him in there.
Is you alright?
He's quite emotional. Couldn't ask for more.
Pleasure, mate.
Awesome.
Thanks for asking.
Nice one. No pleasure.
At the end of it all, the homeowner was just relieved that it was all over. He could have afforded to pay to have it all put back together. But this wasn't about money. This was just about showing him that there are good people in the world. And by you simply watching my videos and supporting my channel, it gives me the opportunity to do more kind deeds just like this. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, and thanks for watching.